Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream, another watch along. Arsenal versus Chelsea. What a game we have in prospect here in the Premier League. Of course, we know that later on, Liverpool will be taking on Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final. Massive game in prospect there. But before we get to that, we've obviously got business to be looking at as far as what the Premier League goes. And it is second place Arsenal against, I believe now 5th place, are they? I believe after yesterday's results. Let me just double check this. 5th place, I believe. No, still 4th. 4th place, Chelsea. Chelsea with the opportunity to put some distance between themselves and Manchester City, who are in 5th. A chance to solidify themselves in the top 4. Massive game for the Blues. Massive game for Arsenal as well. We know that obviously Arsenal were looking to close the gap on Liverpool. It seems unlikely that they will be catching the Reds at the top of the table. But of course, there's pride, there's the element of hope, I guess, that will be drilled into the heads of those Arsenal players, even if it does seem unlikely by Mikel Arteta and by the Arsenal coaches, by the head coach, everybody at the club. So it seems unlikely, but yes, of course, they'll be looking to close the gap. They'll be looking to just solidify themselves even more so in the top 4 themselves, as they are looking like they are closer to exiting out of the top 4 than they are to catching Liverpool, with all due respect. But this is going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game in prospect, as what we're looking forward to. Jordan, hey, how you doing, bro? Hope you are well, my friend. Of course, him being a Liverpool fan as well. You want to join me for the Liverpool-Newcastle game, watch along EFL Cup final? I can probably join you for a little bit. I'll have to see, bro. I'll have to see, because I might have plans for actually going out and actually going to a pub to watch it. So I'll have to have a look for you, bro. And you're welcome, bro. You're, like I say, you've been one of the people that's been here since more or less the beginning. So of course, very much well-deserved mod for you, my friend. Like I say, I have to see. I potentially have plans to go out and watch the game. If not, we're very much looking forward to seeing you, bro. Right, that's for later though. This is the here and now. It is Arsenal taking on Chelsea. And this is how the Arsenal side lines up today. We've got Arsenal with David Raya, of course, in goal. Very predictable. Jurrien Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Miles Lewis-Skelly across the back 4. Martin Odegaard, Thomas Partey, and Declan Rice in the midfield. And Martinelli, Mikel Merino, and Leandro Trossard line up across the forward 3. Going to be an interesting game. It's probably the most predictable lineup that you probably could have put out there as far as what Arsenal are concerned. Going to take those off for now. Didn't me edit. So it's predictable, yes, but it could be very, very effective. We'll have to wait and see how that one goes. We know that obviously Arsenal are struggling to find goals in the Premier League right now. We know that obviously Arsenal are struggling to cope with the absence of Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka in particular. So this one's going to be a very interesting game. We know that defensively they're solid. We know that defensively they're going to be sorted. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be fine. It's just about whether or not that midfield can provide some click opportunities for these makeshift attackers, shall we say. We know that Martinelli and Trossard haven't been the same Martinelli and Trossard of previous years. And we know that Mikel Merino isn't a striker. Why he continues to pursue this. I mean, I don't know much about Arsenal's academy, but surely surely there is some sort of attacker there that can at least plug that gap. Because for me, Marino isn't a striker. I know, really controversial that. But really, for me, Marino isn't a striker. And I personally believe that if you are to play a striker, you probably would go with Martinelli, for example, which means that you go Martinelli up top, maybe like a makeshift false number 9 or whatever, and go Nwaneri on the right, maybe. Or if you are going to play Marino up top, you maybe go for him for the final 20, 30 minutes or so. Maybe have him on then. I don't know. I don't know why Mikel Arteta continues with this experiment of Marino up front. I'm baffled by it. I don't think it works. I think they got lucky against Leicester with it working, but it doesn't work for me. So the fact that they're continuing with this, the only thing I can think of today is that this Chelsea defense is such a liability. This Chelsea defense is so poor. They concede stupid opportunities. They concede stupid goals that maybe, just maybe, Marino is going to get on the score sheet today. That is the only thing I can necessarily think of as to why Marino may work today. That is the only thing I can think of, because this Chelsea defense just isn't strong enough, just isn't disciplined enough, just isn't all there on the mental side of things and the concentration side of things. That's the only thing I can really think of as to why he may get a bit of success in this game today. Looking at the Chelsea team, Sanchez in goal. Calamity Sanchez keeps his place between the sticks for Chelsea. I still don't understand how. Surely, again, they have about 8 different goalkeepers. Surely one of them is at least better or as good as Robert Sanchez. Surely they can't all be as bad as Robert Sanchez is right now. Surely. It looks like they've gone with a back 5. There's Fofana, Badiashile, Colwell, and Cucurella, as well as obviously Reece James. That is probably going to be a back 5 with the wing backs being James and Cucurella. Fofana, Badiashile, and Colwell making up the 3 in the heart of the defence. It's going to be interesting to see if that happens. I saw a lot of people say that maybe James is going to be inverted into midfield. I would love to know how that works. I don't necessarily think that it's going to work in this particular game, and I think they'll have to revert back to a 5 at the back to really kind of neutralise Arsenal in this game. I think that's what he's basically looked at and said, if we go 5, we can maybe double up on the wing positions, and then obviously we can leave Marino to his own devices, and he's, it could work, I guess. For Arsenal, like I say, with Chelsea's defense not exactly being amazing, but at the same time, it seems like Chelsea have done their homework a little bit and decided to go with a game plan to properly neutralise Arsenal's attack. Sancho on the left, it seems, with Neto on the right, Fernandes and Caicedo in the midfield. Looks like it's going to be a double pivot of them two, 3, and then 3 across the front. Neto on the right, I would imagine. Sancho on the left, and Nkunku up top. This is either going to be a game riddled with mistakes, or this is going to be an absolutely dull 0-0 affair. I don't. This is a game in which Arsenal's defense is so superior that will probably win them the game. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. I said that in my predictions video earlier on this week. I said that Arsenal would win by 2-1. I think their defense is solid. I think if anything, Chelsea may get something from, ironically, like a set piece or something to win the game for them. But I said that Arsenal's defense is so strong that I just think they'll get the job done. I genuinely think. See, even Sky Sports right now, I've got James partnered alongside Caicedo in the midfield with Enzo Fernandez in that number 10 role. So it's going to be an interesting way that Chelsea are going to set up here. They even have Nkunku on the left and Neto up front. So I don't know whether this is just Sky Sports being weird about it and overthinking it. I don't know if I'm overthinking it. I don't know how Chelsea are going to set up. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. But as I say, 2-1 to Chelsea is what... 2-1 to Arsenal is what I'm going with here. I think Chelsea's defence is going to maybe be the downfall of them. I think ultimately Arsenal will capitalise on some stupid mistakes by Chelsea. But ultimately, I don't know what to expect from this game. I really, really don't. This is either going to be a game riddled with mistakes, both attackingly and defensively, which could make for an exciting, maddening, frustrating affair between these two rivals. Or it could be a game in which there are goals galore and it's going to be a crazy, crazy game. Either way, I'm going Arsenal to win. Obviously, the Liverpool fan in me hopes and prays that Chelsea gets something from this game. Would love, obviously, for Chelsea to help us out and to help us kind of secure the Premier League title ASAP. But at the same time, I've not really got much hope for Chelsea, in all honesty, in this game because I don't really see them having too much to hurt Chelsea with. And I know that obviously Pedro Neto is a very good player. I really do like him. I know that obviously Sancho on his day can be a tricky customer for a lot of defenders, especially if he rediscovers the form that he showed at Dortmund, for example, but he hasn't necessarily shown it in the Premier League. But it's all about the final product. It's all about the final ball. And for me, they just don't have it, Chelsea. And Arsenal don't necessarily either. But the one thing Arsenal do have over Chelsea is very much a superior and strong and disciplined defensive back line, which I think can neutralise whatever Chelsea decide to throw at them. So this one's going to be a very interesting game. Get involved with your thoughts, your comments, but most of all, of course, your predictions on how you think the game will go. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated from you all. And kickoff is upon us. Arsenal enjoying some very early possession here. Like I say, would love to know what you guys are thinking and feeling about this game. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's going to be a tight game, tight affair where mistakes are going to prove to be costly? Or do you think that this is going to be a very, very big snooze fest on this? As David Raya slips but puts a great ball into midfield for Marino to run onto. Now, Lewis Skelly on the left-hand side. Could there be an early opportunity for Arsenal here? He goes down the left. It's cut out by Fofana and goes out for a corner. Early set piece for Arsenal. We know how much they love set pieces. Well, we say that, but I don't actually think Arsenal have actually scored from a set piece in a good few months. Have they scored a set piece in 2025? Premier League wise, that is. I don't actually think they have. And now that I've said that, I've probably done the curse of the commentator stuff. So I do apologise, Chelsea. I do apologise. As always, we are about 40 seconds to a minute behind regular time. So if you can avoid kind of spoilers in the chat, that'd be great. Rice with the corner, crossed in, headed wide by Jurien Timber. But early sight up for Arsenal there. It's interesting what the mindset of these Arsenal players is right now. I mean, look, I'm a Liverpool fan and I'm loving what we're doing right now in the Premier League. I'm loving the fact that we are, of course, 15 points clear at the top of the league. I'm loving the fact that this is Arsenal's game in hand and all they can do really is reduce it to 12, a 4-game swing. But it's just going to be interesting to see what the mindset of Arsenal is. Do they continue to try and go for it as it goes to the edge of the area? It's a shot and it's just wide from Leandro Trossard. Again, Arsenal work it really well down that right-hand side. And it's a cross in and it falls its way to Trossard. Gets it out of his feet really well. And right-footed, just wide of the target. So... again, another early sighter for Arsenal. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the mindset of these Arsenal players is. I imagine for most Arsenal fans, this is basically just keep the momentum going, keep the keep everything going in the legs ahead of obviously the Champions League game. And I'd love to know as well, what do you think of that Champions League game that's coming up for Arsenal? Obviously, it's against Real Madrid. It's not going to be the easiest game in the world, of course. And we know that even though you may look like you're the better team, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the win over Real Madrid, as my team of Liverpool have found out time and time and time and time again. So it's going to be an interesting one as Enzo Fernandez fouls Thomas Partey there. Going to be a big midfield battle there today. Rice, Partey, Odegaard dropping in there as well against the likes of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. So it's going to be interesting. It does look like Reece James has started in the midfield. So I don't know whether that's just out of mere coincidence or something they started with, something that maybe they've worked on in training. Someone going by a loudspeaker. Slice of a clearance from David Raya. Not exactly been the most confident of starts as Cucurella goes in and commits a foul there. Just his first kick, Raya, was a slip, and his second one then just a bit of a slice. So maybe something to keep an eye on as we go forward. Just checking my bet. I thought I had Cucurella to commit a foul. I didn't. I had Enzo though, so that's at least a good start. Why didn't I go with Cucurella? Strange. It seems like a dead cert now that I think about it. Nkunku has also started on the left as well. So, again, a couple of interesting tactical tweaks. No Cole Palmer, by the way. That's one thing I didn't mention. I can't believe I haven't mentioned it yet. No Cole Palmer. He's been taken as ill for this game. So, yeah, very interesting. That one for Chelsea to have to contend with as well. It's unfortunate, of course. But yeah, I can't believe I've actually got 6 minutes into the game, about 20 minutes into the live stream, and I've not actually mentioned that there's no Cole Palmer for Chelsea. Not that he's been playing particularly well in recent games. He's actually been struggling a little bit. I think that this is the first real rough patch he's had whilst playing for Chelsea. But still very interesting. Of course, Arsenal fans won't like to point it out because it doesn't fit the necessary narrative of, Liverpool getting all of this look by, not having Isak play when they played Newcastle several weeks ago and not having this player for this team not play and all of that stuff. But I'm only kidding. I'm only trying to wind you up. Chelsea are advancing forward here. Neto on the right-hand side here, looking to stand up Gabriel. Works his way inside, finds Fofana. Fofana back out wide to Reece James. And Arsenal do well to get men back, but Chelsea do manage to keep the ball. They work over to the left-hand side with Cucurella. Colwell, long ball, and it is out of play. Decent opportunity that, but again, you see the lack of support from Chelsea's front line there. That really kind of cost them in the end. Had to go backwards and ended up losing the ball. Time for Arsenal to enjoy some possession, but Nkunku harasses Saliba. Doesn't quite win the throw in, but just a bit of a warning sign there for the defender that he's not going to have it all his own way. Here's Raya again. He's going to go long again. Looks like he'll have to. Does go long this time. Looking for the run of Marino or Odegaard. It's cut out by Chelsea and Sanchez. But that's a poor ball from Sanchez. Gives it away to Martinelli. Martinelli's in. He does a shot on goal. It's saved from Sanchez. Barely. He just manages to keep hold of it as Marino, I think, was looking to pounce. And then at the other end, lovely ball. Oh, it's just overhit slightly from Cucurella, but it's still a decent opportunity here. Here's Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea. Blocked the cross and cleared away. Sanchez, again, there's always a mistake in Sanchez. He's so calamitous. It's just Chelsea deal with the long ball. They give it back to Sanchez. It's a poor ball out. Martinelli does well to to work his way into the penalty area. Cut inside on his right foot against Reece James, I believe. Fofana, sorry. Against Fofana. And it's a decent attempt on goal. And I thought for a second there, Sanchez spilled it right into the path of Marino. It didn't quite happen for him. But I don't understand this from Chelsea. Like, most this season in errors leading to goals. I mean, I guess it depends on what you class as errors and whether there are more gleaming errors that maybe are not necessarily considered by Sky to be errors. But 5 this season is so not good enough. And I don't understand, for a team like Chelsea that's got so many goalkeepers, surely there's got to be one at least better than Sanchez. Doesn't even have to be by much. Doesn't even have to be by much. Someone has to surely be better than Robert Sanchez. In this Chelsea goal. Surely. Should also point out there's another game going off at the same time today. There is Fulham against Tottenham. Still 0-0 there. But yeah, Calamity Sanchez. He's definitely box office, isn't he? He's definitely one you got to look out for, even as a goalkeeper, and that's really bad to say. It's really bad. Cucurella trying to get past. Oh, it got past it. Oh, very well cut out, and a save by Sanchez. It's a bit of pinball in the area, and Declan Rice fires over. Cucurella is screaming at the assistant why he wasn't given as a foul there. I thought it probably would have been. It's a ball over the top, and Cucurella looks like he's got it a little bit under the control. Timber takes a bit of I don't think it was enough maybe to bring him down. It looks like he took a bit of a swipe at him. Timber then gets the ball from Cucurella losing his footing, gets it across the face of goal. It's originally cut out by Reece James. There's a bit of pinball. Chelsea managed to get away with it, and then Declan Rice fires over. Is that enough for maybe a foul? It's brilliantly cut out by Fofana. The cross from Timber. Cucurella though is adamant he should have been given as a foul, but Chelsea survive there. But what a moment that could have been for Arsenal. It would have been interesting if that had gone to VAR, whether or not the goal would have withstood. I think it probably would have done, in all honesty. But again, very close from Arsenal. Another warning sign for Chelsea to deal with. Good reactions from Sanchez, as I was just saying, that he's a bit of a liability and an accident waiting to happen. But yes, Arsenal definitely on top here as Rice tries from distance, and it just goes wide of the near post. Decent effort from Declan Rice. Very well worked between Odegaard and Martinelli. Tees up Declan Rice from distance. He just drags his shot a little wide of the post, but that is not far away. Very close to opening the scoreline for Arsenal in this fixture. It doesn't look like there's much, to be fair. I think from one angle, it's a slight bump. Definitely not a foul in my opinion. If the goal had been given, it would have been very, very harsh if they'd have overturned that, if that was obviously what they were leading to. But Chelsea need to wake up here. Chelsea definitely need to wake up here. Arsenal are on the ascendancy. Brilliant play, though, by Sancho. Manages to work its way down the right-hand side. Enzo wins a free kick. Marino with the foul. And it's a decent opportunity, this, for Chelsea to get something in the box and something from a set piece. So we shall wait and see. I've been showing that about 10 times right now. That replay of Cucurella going down. Nothing seems to be happening in the Tottenham game, by the way. Nothing seems to be happening. Bizarre. Reece James, I assume, with the outswinging set piece. Cross goes in. It's over hit and over everybody. And kept in by Sancho. Stopped going for a throw in by Sancho as he tries to step up on Timber. Arsenal do recover. They recover the ball well and get rid up high. But Chelsea will recover the ball and they'll go again, playing the ball back to Sanchez. 15 minutes gone, still Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0, but Arsenal have definitely looked like the brighter team. They've had a couple of opportunities on goal, one on target from Martinelli, but nothing clear-cut as of right now, as there's a foul on, I think it's Fernandez from Partey. Partey, I think he's blown up for the first foul there. Is it the first foul? Rice takes a whack from Fernandez. Going for the ball. There's nothing really in it. It's definitely a foul. It's just coming together. Obviously, Rice trying to use his arms for leverage, but Enzo does take a bit of a whack in the face. They zoomed in on Partey, and I don't know whether it was for the first or second foul. They'll show it here now. Partey takes a poor touch. Oh! That's... studs are up. Studs are up on that one. I think Partey's probably lucky he's not getting anything for that, in all honesty. May not necessarily... I don't know. I'd have to see it again, whether or not... I don't know whether they are checking it or not. I think maybe because the first foul had been given. I don't know what. Are they giving a drop ball to Arsenal here? I've got no idea what's going on there. I had no idea what was going on. I don't know. I thought it was a free kick to Chelsea, but apparently it's a drop ball and Arsenal get on with it. Seems a bit strange, that one. I think if the contact had been harder. It's a crush! Oh, it's wide from Trossard. Sanchez again, man. It's a cross from Timber. Sanchez parries it out to Trossard, and first time Trossard hits it into the ground, and it bounces wide. Again, it's another warning sign for Chelsea. But they have to be more alert to this. As I was saying, I think if Partey's contact had been harder, it probably would have been difficult to disagree with him being off. But what I don't understand is, why was that given as a drop ball to Arsenal? I thought it was a foul from Rice. Very strange. Oh, they were deeming it handball from Cucurella. That's why they showed it so many times. I thought they were just genuinely going for the foul. I was like, why are they showing it so many times? But I guess they were just trying to see if it was handball or not. Anyway, Martinelli going down the right-hand side. He does well to get past his man. He crosses it in. It's blocked. And Chelsea again survive. And it's another corner for the Gunners. But that was brilliant play from Martinelli. Brilliant down the right-hand side. Timber just lays it down the right for Martinelli. And he just goes past Badiashile. Just absolutely drives past the Chelsea defender. And wins a corner for the Gunners. Another set-piece opportunity for Arsenal to potentially break the deadlock here. So much crowding around Sanchez, and why wouldn't you? Cross goes in, his header on. It's a wonderful goal. It's a wonderful goal. And in typical fashion, my curse strikes again. It's Mikel Merino. I mean, to be fair, it's a slight curse, and also I did say he would get some opportunity against his Chelsea defence because the Chelsea defence is not good enough and is a proper liability. But it's a wonderful header from the Spaniard. Ball goes in from Odegaard. It's a wonderful header. It's just getting a flick on. It's just a flick on. And it just loops over everybody. Loops past Sanchez and into the back of the net. It's a wonderful, wonderful header from Mikel Merino. Absolute class goal. Yeah, 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal. And you've got to be honest. You've got to be honest and say that it's nothing. It's nothing more than what Arsenal deserve here. Nothing more than what they deserve because Arsenal have been very, very good so far in the opening 20 minutes of this game. Chelsea have been extremely poor. They've not got going. They've not done anything really of note, I would say. They've had a few warnings, Chelsea, and yet they've not changed their approach yet. Nothing's really adapted. And Arsenal have been very, very good so far. Very, very good so far. Nothing more than they deserve. 22 minutes gone. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. Mikel Merino with a lovely header to break the deadlock for Arsenal. And again, a little bit of a curse from me. When was the last time they scored from a set piece? Well, yeah, they have literally just scored from one. So I do apologise, Chelsea fans, but like I say, your team have not been great so far. Your team have really, really not been great so far. Strong from Caicedo. Chelsea looking to spring an attack. Miles Lewis-Skelly, brilliant defending. Cuts it out, and Trossard can now start something here. He finds Declan Rice. Tackle from Fofana. Bit of afters between Rice and Fofana there. And eventually it gets cooled down. Free kick to Arsenal. They checking for they got VAR. I think it's for the stamp from Fofana on Rice in the aftermath. Goes in for the challenge and then he steps forward. Does he stand? I mean, Rice seems to have the evidence that he did. Can't say. Probably again, fortunate. Probably fortunate on Fofana's part that no further action is being taken here. "24 minutes gone. 1-0 Arsenal. Marino with a goal, but potentially, maybe you could argue both teams should be down to 10 men. You could potentially argue that. Yes, very much so, Jordan. Very much so. Marino with a lovely headed goal. Brilliant from the Spaniard in... it was just a fantastic lead. I don't know if he obviously means it to go in. I'll say that much. I don't know if he means it to go in. I think he's just trying to get a flick on for someone else. But either way, works brilliantly well for Arsenal. And it's nothing more than they deserve because they've been truly brilliant so far in the opening 25 minutes. Enzo fires wide. Long ball from Sanchez. And Enzo gets there just ahead of Gabriel. And he just fires it wide. But, yeah, that just sums up Chelsea right now. That just sums up Chelsea. Their attacking play has been so poor. They've got no real vocal point up front. They really, really don't. And... they've got nothing. Arsenal's defence have been untroubled so far. Very much untroubled so far. Foul from Saliba will be a free kick to Chelsea. Another poor challenge. Trossard this time going down. Fofana again. The culprit. It's just studs are down on that one. It's just a poor challenge. But be surprised if he doesn't come away with this one without a yellow card. Referee keeping his cards in his pocket, it seems. Interesting decision from the referee. Still 1-0 to the Arsenal. Still 0-0 between Fulham and Tottenham as Chelsea go forward. Neto with the cross well over here. It goes all the way through to Cucurella on the left-hand side. Plays the ball backwards to Caicedo. James, Enzo, Badiashile. Chelsea just keeping some possession. Just got no real vocal point, Chelsea. Long ball goes over and it's through to David Raya. Just got no vocal point. They've got no vocal point. They've got nothing going for them right now. There's nothing through the middle. they're just having to rely on Neto's pace down one side and maybe Sancho doing a bit of trickery down the other. But they've got nothing right now. There's nothing for Chelsea through the middle. And it's a very straightforward and comfortable afternoon, not just for the Arsenal centre-back pairing, but just for the midfield as well. They've got nothing going on, Chelsea, right now. It's so bizarre. So bizarre. Here's Odegaard. Here's Rice. Trossard. Colwell this time in trouble. And he will be the first one to get booked. Levi Colwell. So Colwell there, first in the referee's book. Poor challenge. Poor challenge. Always stretching. Trossard just nicks the ball between him and yeah, poor challenge. Not been the greatest of starts from Chelsea this. And Arsenal have another opportunity to maybe double their lead here. Decent free kick opportunity this. Odegaard will take. Ball gets whipped in. It's lovely. Oh, it's well dealt with by Caicedo. Timber goes down, though, in the penalty area. Looking like you're going to need some treatment. Looked like it was in the right area. Probably just not enough pace on it. It would have been interesting to see if VAR would have interfered if that had gone in. Did maybe look like one or two Arsenal players had just gone a little early. Timber looks like he was pushed down to the ground, receiving a little bit of treatment. Damn. Just over half hour played. Still 1-0 to Arsenal. Mikel Merino with the only goal so far. It's Gabriel. Nice little turn from Lewis Skelly. Rice. Skelly. Odegaard. Arsenal continuing to probe here. Martinelli down the right-hand side. Odegaard slips it through to Timber. Rice back to Timber. Cross goes in. Blocked off Cucurella and out for a throw-in to Arsenal. Foul to Arsenal. Thomas Partey fouling Pedro Neto. Looked to try and go early there, did Chelsea, but I think the referee will pull the ball back. Yeah, he will. Went a bit too early for the referee's liking there. The Chelsea players. Massive game, obviously later, by the way, Liverpool versus Newcastle Carabao Cup final. I, of course, will have vested interest in this, so I cannot wait for this game, and also I'm a little bit nervous as well as being excited, as I always am for a cup final. Get involved. Let me know what you guys think. What do you make of the game, and who do you see winning the first piece of silverware as the season as Arsenal go forward here with Odegaard playing in Martinelli, and Martinelli fires over the crossbar. But again, Arsenal there, very close. Gabriel cutting out a long ball from Badiashile. Just been so slow and so lethargic of Chelsea, and Arsenal have really capitalised on every opportunity that they've had. It's a strong challenge from Gabriel. It takes a bit of a whack from Enzo Fernandez when both were competing for the ball, but Arsenal have just been alert to everything that Chelsea tried to. Another poor ball out this time again from Badiashile, and Arsenal have it again in a very dangerous areas. Too many loose balls, especially in key areas by Chelsea, that are allowing these counterattacks to happen. Luis Skelly, though, could not find the run of Declan Rice, and Chelsea now can spring forward. Here's Cucurella down the left-hand side. What can Chelsea produce here? Goes out wide to Nkunku. Nkunku cuts inside to Reece James. Reece James now out to the other flank with Jadon Sancho. Sancho running at his man, trying to beat Luis Skelly. Luis Skelly stands firm, and Sancho is forced to go backwards, and so too is Reece James. And they have it now with Badiashile over to Cucurella on the left-hand side. Just again, it's just a lack of support through the middle. It's just a lack of movement. It's a lack of anyone trying to penetrate and break the lines of Arsenal. There's just very little for Chelsea to kind of go off whenever they go forward here. Chelsea just enjoying some much needed possession here. Long ball goes over. It's Jadon Sancho. Takes it well. Enzo Fernandez passes it to Pedro Neto. Neto strikes. It's blocked. It's fell its way through to Nkunku. Blocked. Cucurella strikes. Oh my days. David Raya with almost an embarrassing moment of his own there. But that's the first time, really, that Chelsea have actually threatened. And it was rather fortuitous. It works its way down the right-hand side. Cut back to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez does well to work it into Pedro Neto. Neto's shot is deflected into the path of Nkunku. And then Nkunku, his shot, I believe, is deflected into the path of Cucurella. And Cucurella strikes it first time. And David Raya, so fortunate there that his mishandling of it goes out for a corner, and from the resulting corner, it goes straight into the hands of David Raya, who can try and start a counter-attack. His long throw out is just about cut out by Chelsea, and they can work it back to Robert Sanchez. But very, very fortunate from David Raya that he's not just undone all of Arsenal's hard work inside the opening 40 minutes here with that absolute howler of a mistake. He gets away with it, but that should be an encouraging sign for Chelsea. That should be an encouraging sign, because I said right at the beginning that David Raya didn't exactly strike me as the most alert and ready, shall we say, to start the game. A couple of kicks from the opening few minutes didn't exactly seem to be anything special or anything like competent. But there, that should be a warning sign as Cucurella puts one into the box, but it's headed out only as far as going back to Cucurella, actually. And Pedro Neto can see what he can do from this left-hand side here. But, yeah, definitely a warning sign for Arsenal that they should not take their eye off the ball here. Chelsea can always spring back into the game at any moment, even if they have been pretty poor for the opening for the first half so far. Yeah, David Raya, very, very, very fortunate there that did not just squirm past him and into the back of his own net. And Sancho. Banishile. Over to Cucurella on the left-hand side. Chelsea probing here, enjoying their first real spell of attacking pressure. Cucurella tries to win a corner. It's gone for a goal kick. See that. David Raya. Cat is lucky blessings there. Fierce hit from Cucurella. Just squirms. Squirms through his hands. I think it deflects off his boot. Squirms through his hands, deflects off his boot, and just bounces agonizingly wide of the post. Chelsea, somewhat unfortunate there not to be back on level terms somewhat. Nothing really is happening in the Fulham-Tottenham game. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on with that? Chelsea going forward, though. Here's Pedro Neto. And if anyone looks like they're going to try and get Chelsea back into this game, it is the Portuguese international. He wins the corner for the Blues here. Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Neto the one who equalised for Chelsea when it was 1-1 between these two earlier on in the season? Seem to remember him just picking the ball up from the right-hand side, cutting in and just unleashing a shot that completely rooted David Raya to the goal. Cucurella. Keeping some possession here. Chelsea enjoying a very nice spell of attacking pressure and possession as we edge ever closer to half-time. There's Nkunku. Caicedo, who's been very, very quiet so far. Mainly because I need a foul from him, and weirdly, he's not actually fouled anyone yet. There's James. Looking to try and penetrate this back line of Arsenal. Again, there's no real vocal point to the attack for Chelsea. It's all sort of so lopsided, all leaning down one side. And there's Sancho, Cucurella, back out to Nkunku. There's no one going through the middle. The one who's acting as the striker right now is Enzo Fernandez. It's Colwell, Cucurella, and Nkunku loses the ball, but Arsenal give the ball back to Chelsea anyway, as it's played out wide to Pedro Neto. James with the first time ball in. It's headed away, but only as far as Badiashile. Colwell out wide. Tried to go down the line to Cucurella. Saliba's made a mess of it, and he just about gets away with it, but it's only as far as the Chelsea players as Enzo strikes one from distance, and it goes high and wide. But a decent spell of possession there and attacking pressure from Chelsea. Again, encouraging sign maybe. Saliba just about gets away with a poor touch himself. Couple of challenges in there that were going for the ball. Nothing too major in it, in my opinion. But nice spell of possession and attacking pressure there from Chelsea. Need to do more of that, but they need to find some way of breaking that back line of Arsenal's because, like I said, they don't really have a vocal point. And in the end, it is probably going to be something spectacular that they have to try and rely upon. They want to try and if they want to try and maybe get back into this game on level terms. Long ball. Fofana goes down. He'll be needing some treatment. 50-50 in the air with Marino. Just the way he lands, it's a bit awkward for him. Not the greatest of landings, to be fair. Not the greatest of landings. Coming up to the stroke of half-time. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. Mikel Merino with the only goal of the game. A couple of feisty challenges. A couple of maybe controversial moments, you could potentially say, for both of these sides in this one. Three minutes of added on time. David Raya goes long. Headed away by Fofana. Partey making a nuisance of himself. Chelsea just about get away with it, and it's smashed upfield. Awkward bounce. Could have allowed Nkunku in there. Ball bounces awkwardly off Enzo Fernandez, and Arsenal can escape through Martinelli down the right-hand side. He's going up against Cucurella. Martinelli against Cucurella. Gets the cross in. Sanchez just about gets a fingertip to it. It's fell to Trossard. Tries to tee up Martin Odegaard. It's cut out by Caicedo. And Chelsea managed to escape. Brilliant play by Arsenal to set up that chance. Great cross in. And Sanchez just about gets something on that to obviously divert it away. Very similar to what happened earlier with the Timber cross. Decent delivery. Sanchez just about gets a fingertip to it and it falls to Trossard. And rather than take the shot, just can't work it out of his feet. Tries to tee up Odegaard instead. So, yes, interesting play from Arsenal there as we edge ever closer to half-time. This probably will be the last piece of action of the first half as Gabriel goes long looking for Marino, and it's fell to Trossard. Trossard now on the left-hand side, got two Chelsea players to keep him company, and Fofana manages to get a throw-in for the Blues. I need a Timber foul and a Caicedo foul. Jesus. Fofana, long throw upfield, cut out by Partey, and the ball goes out of play for a goal kick. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, as half-time approaches. We're about 10 seconds away from the referee blowing half-time whistle. Arsenal leading 1-0. Fantastic half so far for Arsenal. They'll probably be a little bit concerned with how the final 5 minutes or so have gone. Chelsea enjoying a bit more of the ball in the attacking third. Chelsea enjoying a bit more possession. Chelsea enjoying some encouraging signs that this game is not dead and buried just yet. But there we go. Half time has just gone. Chelsea find themselves a goal down. Arsenal been brilliant for the opening, I would say 35 to 40 minutes or so. I thought it was a perfect performance from Arsenal so far. But yes, Chelsea will definitely be encouraged by that final five minutes or so of the game. Definitely got back into it, enjoyed some possession. They they definitely they definitely are still in this. They definitely are still in this, Chelsea. Definitely are still in this. For me, Arsenal. I mean, apart from, I think the encouraging thing for Chelsea is that it's still only 1-0. That's what I can say. They scored from a set piece, which is, somewhat has been Arsenal's forte in recent months, not necessarily so far this season. Still only 1-0. And the final 5 minutes or so should give a bit more encouragement. So there's definitely something there for Chelsea they just need something through the middle. They just need something through the middle. Like, Arsenal have been passing the ball around them very, very well, but it's not even just the defending side of things. It's the attacking side as well. Every time Chelsea have not only been lacking in terms of the quality of their passing, they've given away some absolutely stupid balls at times. They've given away some really loose passes. It's just been their attacking play. They work it down one side, and then they've got nothing in the middle. Absolutely nothing in the middle. Half the time, it's basically a long diagonal to Sancho or to Neto, who pulls out on that side. And there's nothing in the middle. There's absolutely nothing in the middle. And that needs to obviously change going forward. I don't know whether it's just basically they need to switch so that Nkunku goes through the middle and they just allow Sancho and Neto to run the channels. I don't know whether it's they got someone on their bench that can maybe make the difference maker in this. I mean, who have they got on their bench today? Let's just have a look. I mean, no one really. There's no one there. Like, defenders, they've got two goalkeepers. The irony of having two goalkeepers and not one of them is allegedly or seemingly better than Calamity Sanchez is just baffling to me. But they've got like two goalkeepers on their bench. They've got Adebayo, a defender, Shalabar, a defender, Akiampong. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm sorry, I really butchered his name. Malo Gusto, Dewsbury Hall, Romeo Lavia as well, and then they've got that Tariq George. I don't know that's how you pronounce it though, is it? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I don't know. But there's no one on there that you would say is a recognised game changer. That's going to really change this game for them. Unless, obviously, you do what Arsenal are doing, which is just throw a makeshift striker up there. Like, Nkunku seems to be the obvious one that has at least got experience of playing up front. The others, not so much. Just showing the replay of the goal. Just it's such a good header. I think he's just trying to get a flick on. I don't think he's going for goal, admittedly, but it works out brilliantly for him at least. And here's to hoping Chelsea gets something in the second half. But no, very good from very good from Arsenal so far. They're looking to close the gap on Liverpool to 12 points. Mikel Merino's goal looks like they're heading in the right direction. Now, what do I need to win this bet? I need Berger, Castagna, and Udogie all to commit fouls. And I also need Timber and Caicedo to commit fouls. Here's the thing with fouls bets. Fouls bets only work in the first half. There's very rarely a time where second half fouls necessarily work for me. I always find that if a foul bet does not win in the first half, it doesn't normally win. Or maybe I'm just really bad at betting. I don't know. So far, so good, though, for Arsenal. 1-0 up. Could have been more. They definitely had some early opportunities before they went 1-0 up. I think Chelsea have grown into the game the later the half has gone on, but like I say, there's just nothing going on in the middle for Chelsea, and there's some loose passes that are just going a bit AWOL and allowing Arsenal to maybe create opportunities. Calamity Sanchez. There's always going to be opportunities as far as what he's concerned. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Going to be an interesting second half that awaits us. Elsewhere today, it is Fulham 0, Tottenham 0. And of course, I'm not watching that game, but let's just have a quick look, shall we, at the statistics in that one. Rangers won as well. Rangers won 3-2. I know they were 2-0 up in that game, so Celtic almost managed to pull off an incredible comeback. So it seems as though Fulham are dominating Tottenham. They have 60% possession. They've had more attacks. They've had one shot on target. They've had 4 corners in comparison to Tottenham, who've had no shots on target, 1 shot off target, 40% possession, and only 2 corners. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter for Spurs now, because obviously they're putting all their eggs in the Europa League basket. But even so, as far as what Spurs are concerned, that is still a strong squad. That is definitely still a strong squad. Like, moaning all season like they've not had their full strength squad out. Spurs have got pretty much, apart from like Van der Ven, who's on the bench, that is pretty much their full strength squad. They've even got Archie Gray back in his more natural midfield role, alongside Bentancur and Basuma. Even Jed Spence is in his more natural position of right back. They've put Udogie as the left back. Christian Romero's partnering Ben Davis. Vicario's in goal. Johnson's on the right. Solanke's leading the line. And obviously Mateus Tel is on the left. Mateus Tel, by the way, don't quite get what the hype is. Don't quite get what the hype is right now. But I'm just saying, like, Spurs' season all relies on the Europa League. So I understand why they may not be like going too gung-ho in this game. But at the same time, Spurs' season so bad. And if you are Anjin, I would love to know how. I'd love to know why that is. But at the same time, I personally don't quite get it. I'm on the Anjou train, and it's not necessarily because I don't think he's a bad manager. I just think he doesn't quite work with the way that obviously Tottenham operate. That's all. Hey James, welcome along to the channel. Welcome along to the stream, my friend. Hope you are well. Hope you're doing okay, my dude. Hey Fretch, how is it going? Do you know how to sign into StreamYard? Do you know where it is you do your predictions for the Premier League? Like I say, bro, I do my predictions on a different operating thing. I think it's OBS. I go on OBS Studio, I go on the free version of OBS Studio, and I kind of edit the scenes there to do the predictions video that I do every week. So that's how I do that. I only use StreamYard for streaming things like this. So for live streaming, I would use StreamYard. For my predictions videos and all other kind of videos that I do that are similar to that, I will use OBS. OBS Studios, which you can obviously find online by just typing it in. But that's the way that I do that. So thank you for coming along, bro. Hope you're well. Are you enjoying the game so far? If you're watching it, we'd love to know. Arsenal currently leading 1-0 through Mikel Merino. Second half about to get underway in about just under 5 minutes' time, I would imagine. Ugh. Liverpool Newcastle 3:30 today. Jesus Christ! And the way that obviously the games are set up today, obviously with this being a slightly earlier Sunday game than it usually would, obviously it means that there's going to be a good hour or so between this game finishing and obviously the Carabao Cup final starting. So I think what I'll do is, obviously the team news will be out in about 45 minutes time. So near the end of this game, the team news should be out, unless obviously, do they still do an hour and 15 minutes on a Carabao Cup game? So an hour and 15 minutes for every game now, isn't it? That they have team news. So we'll definitely talk about the team news for the game. We'll definitely talk about the team news for the game. Don't necessarily think I'll be able to stream the second, the big game, because I think I'll be out. He's just so slow, isn't he, Marino? I was just seeing him go around the corner flag for his celebration. He's so slow. Which is mad, because I rated him. When he first came to Arsenal, I was like, this guy is going to very much complement Declan Rice. And I just thought he's going to very much complement him in certain ways. And then as the season's gone on, it's like he hasn't quite... He's not quite done that to the best of his ability. He's not quite been the guy that I thought he would be. And not only that as well, but I think Declan Rice himself, like, I think we've all worked out now this season, like, the number 8 role just isn't necessarily for him. I just think he's better as a 6. He's better as a destroyer. Keep things ticking over. You can kind of do both. You can kind of be a destroyer and a controller. Got a bit of yin and yang in him. Like, I just don't think it's necessarily worked out to the level that I thought it would. Second half kicks off. Chelsea get the ball rolling again. 45 minutes to boost their top four chances. Like I say, this is massive for Chelsea because City obviously dropping points against Brighton yesterday. I know it does seem like England are going to get that fifth spot in terms of the Champions League for next season, and there'll be at least 5 teams from England in the Champions League for next season. But of course, if Chelsea can obviously get something from this game, it'll only solidify themselves even more so in at the very least top 4 to obviously obtain Champions League football, which has obviously been their main objective this season. And obviously it's something that they desperately need because they've gambled with a lot of money being thrown at this entire project that is basically based off of obtaining Champions League football. So we shall see how this second half plays out. Ball over the top. It's just flicked on enough by Gabriel to take it back into the direction of David Raya. But, yeah, Chelsea almost in there. Here's Martinelli. Played out wide to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard stands or tries to play in Martinelli, but it's well dealt with by Badiashile and out for an Arsenal throw-in. I wonder if anything has changed at halftime. I wonder if personnel is or some a tweak in tactics, maybe, or maybe a tweak in positions of Chelsea players, especially with them obviously needing to get back on level terms very, very, very soon. You would imagine. As Martinelli tries to go down the right-hand side against Cucurella, but wins a corner. Again. Odegaard to deliver the corner. And would have been undone by one corner already in this game. Will it be a second? And a very good opportunity here for Arsenal to double their lead. Odegaard's delivery cleared away at the near post. Picked up though by Declan Rice. Played through to Odegaard. Marino, but Odegaard was offside. It's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. Definitely want to play out from the back, Chelsea, taking a fair few risks. Here's Pedro Neto. Neto tries to go for the goal for distance, but it's deflected, blocked away. And Chelsea recover the ball. Definitely no change in their approach for Chelsea. Definitely still want to play it out from the back. We know what Enzo Maresca's all about now. Just lacking key areas, don't they? They really, really do. They're just lacking key areas. A goalkeeper that is at least going to make the defense look semi-competent, and a striker which is going to be scoring about 20 to 25 league goals at the very least a season. I know they've been missing Nicholas Jackson, but I know he went through that purple patch, but you know, it's I've never found him to be good enough. Still 0-0, by the way, in the other game. Still 0-0 between Fulham and Tottenham. We await the first goal there in the London derby between them two. 2 London derbies have been played at the same time today. Arsenal coming forward again here. It's blocked into the path of Sanchez, who has no problem in collecting that ball. Said it weren't going to be that exciting. Said it was not going to be that exciting, this game. Arsenal just enjoying some possession here. Trossard foul for Fofana again. The culprit. Surely he's got to be booked this time. It's a very cynical tug on the shirt there and tug on the arm. Has he booked him? Well, he's booked Pedro Neto for dissent. Neto shouting at the referee. He's booked Neto. I don't think he's booked Fofana, and Fofana's made about 3 or 4 challenges in this game that has resulted in him not being booked so far. So I don't know what Fofana has to do to be booked. It might be worth sticking a £5 on for anyone interested in fancying a bit of a flutter on that. Might be interesting to see if obviously he will get booked, but Pedro Neto is the second Chelsea player in the referee's book this afternoon. Cross goes in, blocked by Badiashile, turn behind for a corner. Arsenal again with another set-piece opportunity here. Take an eternity to take these corners, don't they? Declan Rice eventually floats it in. It's headed down, but it's cleared away by Chelsea. Chelsea again dealt with that well, and Pedro Neto can now explode forward. But he's cut out by a recovering Jurrien Timber. Pedro Neto is wondering why that wasn't given as a foul, but play goes on. Badiashile eventually turns it out for an Arsenal throw-in, and Arsenal can resume play there. Here's Timber, played through. Marino loses the ball. Chelsea get rid. And play goes on. Yellow card out for an Arsenal player this time. Foul on Reece James by Gabriel. Gabriel, the first Arsenal player to be taken into the referee's book. Yeah, very cynical challenge. Mistimed. Doesn't get there. James takes it past him, and rightfully so, yellow card for the Arsenal defender. Gabriel Magalhaes. I don't know. There's George Graham, Arsenal legend, of course. Infamous 1-0 to the Arsenal. And that's exactly what the scoreline here today as Caicedo goes down under the challenge of Mikel Merino. There is literally nothing happening in this Fulham-Tottenham game, and it's really doing me head in. It's really doing me head in. Do something. Anything. It is what it is. Stand strong by Martinelli. Tries to play the ball through to Merino, but it's cut out, and Chelsea can in the end give it back to Robert Sanchez, who goes long. Cucurella with the header, only as far as William Saliba, who can play it infield to Martin Odegaard. Space to turn and look ahead of him. Looks for Martinelli on the right-hand side. Badiashile standing him up in the corner flag. Only a bit early to go towards the corner flag and waste some time, to be honest, but to each their own. And it's out of play for an Arsenal throw-in. Just similar to the first half. Nothing has really changed so far for either side, really. Arsenal still probing. Chelsea still looking to launch a counter-attack, but they've got very little going forward for them. Odegaard unhappy about a challenge from Cucurella that didn't result in a free kick. Good play by Chelsea here. And Kunku can now spring forward. But again, he's got very limited options ahead of him. Looks instead for Reece James, who tries to invite Cucurella to go forward. Caicedo now. Just keeping some possession here, Chelsea. Arsenal trying to press and hound into making the mistake. Chelsea so far just holding their own a little bit. Here's Fernandez, looks forward for Pedro Neto. Now he's got an opportunity to spring forward. And he goes for a shot from distance. And it just loops over the bar. But again, it just shows you there's nothing going forward. There's very little going forward for Chelsea. And in the end, they had to resort to a shot from distance. And it's going to take something like that to even attempt to get back into this game, it seems, because of how well Arsenal are defensively, as we just see a replay there of Partey just standing on the foot of Enzo Fernandez, and he's actually received a yellow card for that as Thomas Partey. So Partey, the second Arsenal player in the referee's book. Another yellow card. The cards are flying out now. As Fofana finally gets booked. For those of you that actually put a fiver on it when I said, do that. Yes, go for it. Book for time wasting. Book for time wasting. Lewis Skelly had the ball. About to restart from a throw-in. And he picks up the second ball, throws it onto the pitch to time waste. A lot of Arsenal fans, I would imagine, probably annoyed by that because they probably would see that he probably should have been booked earlier on in the game and maybe that should have been a second yellow. But, oh well. Also coming forward here is Martinelli. He's in the penalty area against Cucurella. Cucurella does well to kind of just hold him up a bit and reduce the angle. Martinelli's cross. It's back post. It's a brilliant save from Sanchez. Brilliant save from Sanchez to stop it from going 2-0 up. Martinelli picked out, I think it was Merino at the back post. Free as a bird. First time volley. Very good stop and smart stop from Sanchez. And Chelsea managed to survive and the score stays at 1-0. But, no, bizarre few minutes there. Fofana gets his yellow card, which was a long time coming. And I did say back it, and I can't believe I didn't do that myself. But yeah, then Sanchez keeps Chelsea in this game as Neto goes forward. Sliding tackle from William Saliba, and it's a corner to the Blues. But what a stop from Sanchez here as we see Martinelli's cross, and it is Merino. Back post, Declan Rice is holding off the challenger Fofana. Merino's got a free. He's free as a bird at the back post. I've got no idea how he's that free. But it's a decent strike. But it is well saved from Robert Sanchez. Also on that Thomas Partey card, if Caicedo can get a card and a couple of cards can come out of that Spurs game, that is another bet of mine that may come to fruition, but it doesn't seem likely because it doesn't seem like anything is happening in that Fulham game. Is that game even going on? Does anyone actually know if that game is going on? There doesn't seem to be anything happening in that game. So for all we know, nothing could actually be happening. Not even Paddy Power probably know if anything's happening in that game. Enzo Fernandez, foul on Trossard. He's pleading with the official that it's not a foul. We shall see here. You know what? It's a dive. That is a horrible dive from Trossard. Gets away with it because he's in the corner and because it would have gone out for a throw-in otherwise. But I actually feel sorry for Fernandez there. That is a dive from Trossard. Really big dive from Trossard. Tom Daly special there. And would have been really proud of that one. Cross goes in towards back post looking for Timber. Offside. But, yeah, I definitely do feel sorry for Enzo Fernandez in that one. I don't know why we're seeing goal line technology in this one. It was clearly not over the line. No goal. A whole of the ball's got across the whole of the line. Didn't happen. Sanchez, decent stop to deny Mikel Merino. Yeah, nothing seems to be going on in that game. Nothing is going on in that game. Like, nothing. Nothing is going off in that game. Jesus. Sanchez restarts play. Looking long towards Cucurella. His touch to Caicedo. And it's a foul from Merino on Caicedo. And Chelsea can begin again with a free kick. Caicedo looking for the run of Nkunku, but it's cut out by the good starting position of David Raya. Over an hour played. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. They lead through Mikel Merino's goal, looking to close in on. That is the doorbell. Why is the doorbell going? And I just missed a good opportunity as well. Friggin' Amazon. Didn't even know it was coming today. Right, what have I missed? I missed an opportunity for Arsenal, I think, and I think the referee's got a yellow card out again. Odegaard, yeah, late challenge on Cucurella, gonna get a yellow card for that. He starts counter-attack, cynical challenge, yeah, definite yellow card for Martin Odegaard there. But I seem to miss like an opportunity as well for Arsenal, it seems. Typical. Couldn't come in like at half time, couldn't come anytime soon. Just had to be there. Didn't even know it was coming today. Sanchez, Badiashile. Arsenal cut the ball out again. Odegaard lets it run to Rice, and it's just out of his reach as Chelsea can come away with the ball. You can definitely tell Chelsea have missed the creativity and the movement of Cole Palmer, but you can also just tell like they've just got nothing going forward. No vocal point, no target man, nothing to really hit going forward, nothing to really play off or play around. They just lack. They just lack in the final third. Just lack in the final third. But yet, in saying that, whilst it does remain 1-0, you never know. You never know. Chelsea working it down the left-hand side. Caicedo, nice ball into Nkunku, who plays it to Reece James. Nice bit of play by Chelsea to keep hold of the ball. Still got 25 minutes to play. Chelsea still be encouraged. Will still be encouraged. Fair play, Jordan. Fair play. Like I say, guys, sub to any of these guys that are in the chat. Sub to Jordan especially. Jordan doing some incredible stuff on his channel, and he obviously a big Liverpool fan himself. So go and subscribe to him. It seems like he's going to be doing obviously some content and some stuff around the Carabao Cup game that is to come later on today. So please go and sub to these guys. Guys absolutely working really hard and putting out some really good stuff. So head over there if you obviously want to expand on your content, whether it be football related completely or whether it be specifically Liverpool Liverpool. He does all kind of sorts on his channel. So do go over there and sort all of that out. Just nothing's happening in this second half either. Nothing has happened in this at all. Nothing's happened in the second half. Ugh. Painful. Actually painful. Nothing has happened in this second half at all. It's still 0-0 in the other game. This game is still 1-0. With very little to talk about. Ugh. Foul, edge of the penalty area. Arsenal with a free kick. Big opportunity this for the Gunners. There we go. Something might actually happen now. Lewis Skelly driving forward. Gets brought down by Fofana. Another challenge from Fofana. if I was Enzo Maresca, I'd probably be taking him off. In my opinion, Jesus Christ, if he manages to stay on the pitch and manages to actually remain on the pitch for the entirety of the game, I'd be very, very surprised, because he is definitely playing with fire right now. Is Wesley Fofana. I'm doing IPL cricket watch along this weekend. Oh, so he does cricket as well. There we go, guys. There we go. Cricket as well. If you're interested, go and sub over to Jordan, doing some absolutely awesome stuff over there. Cricket is not necessarily my cup of tea, to be honest, but obviously to each their own. Head over there, subscribe to him. He's doing some awesome stuff right now. I'm sure there'll be something to cater for what is tempered to you. Arsenal here, free kick, dangerous position, looking to put this game to bed. I feel like 2-0 will definitely put this game to bed. 2-0 will 100% put this game to bed, because Chelsea have shown nothing in this second half to even worry Arsenal, in my opinion. So, chest. So, this will pretty much put the game to bed if Arsenal can score from this, or in very, very soon. Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard both stepping over it. It looks like Rice is going to hit this one. Taking eternity with these set pieces, don't they, Arsenal? Jesus, just get on with it. Just miss already. It's Rice who hits it. It's deflected and it's behind for a corner. Off of Enzo Fernandez's backside there. Odegaard still in conversation with the referee. Arsenal corner. Rice delivers. It's headed just wide by Martinelli. Headed just wide by the Brazilian. Again, sort of free at the back post initially, and then Caicedo notices the danger. Chelsea again play out from the back. Then Badiashile goes long down the line, flick on with the header, cut out though by Saliba. Partey recovers possession, wins the second ball, and Arsenal can potentially go again. There's nothing for Chelsea. There's nothing for Chelsea, and if you suffocate them and push them up the pitch enough, they've got very little going forward. I can't believe they haven't changed it yet. We are over 25 minutes. We're coming up to about half an hour in this second half being played, and Chelsea have not even attempted to change things up yet. All they seem to be doing is just going long. It's just go long and hope that they win the first ball and they win the second ball. And if they don't, it's Arsenal who will dominate possession, and they'll just have to wait for their opportunity to go again. Here's Neto. The only player who actually looks like something may happen is Pedro Neto. And even then, he can't do it on his own. And he's judged to have just fouled Lewis Skelly there and gives away a free kick. Why do Chelsea put up with this every week? Changes for Chelsea, though, just as I've mentioned that they've not attempted to change anything. Jadon Sancho is coming off. Christopher Nkunku is also making way. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is on, as is George as well. We're just going to go with George. We're just going to go with George. Oh, it is 1-0 Fulham. Something is happening in that game. Fulham have scored. Wow. What actually happened in that game? Spurs are a goal down, but let's face it, it's like, who cares? Because they're just putting all their eggs in the Europa League basket. They're just using that game just as friendly games. Rodrigo Muniz with the goal for Fulham, by the way, just in case you're interested. Martinelli's on the floor here. Took a bit of a whack from Caicedo there. Didn't seem anything too wrong in the as a foul, but still been given anyway. Ethan Nwaneri is going to be entering play. He's coming on for Martinelli. Martinelli off and Nwaneri on. The revelation for Arsenal this season, the young kid, is going to be entering the field of play to take the place of the Brazilian, who is still recovering from that whack he took from Moises Caicedo. Arsenal done well to control the second half. They've really dampened down things. They've really kept things cool, calm, collected. They've not gone too overboard. They've not risked anything major happening. They've not taken any kind of risks themselves in worrying about this. They've just gone about their business. And that's why the game is so controlled. And I think also a big reason for that is, obviously, as you can tell from this Chelsea team, there are some good players within it. But it's just not the finished article, and no one was expecting it to be. But when you consider that they've lacked creativity from not having Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto has attempted to do things up front, but he's had very little service and has had to either create the service for himself, or he's just not been able to have anybody alongside him to kind of play off. It's a struggle. It is a struggle. But, as I keep saying, and as I keep bringing up, it's only 1-0. It's only 1-0. It only takes one moment, one mistake, and potentially, Chelsea could be back within a chance of getting something from this game. I don't necessarily see it happening because Arsenal's defence has been relatively, for the most part, untroubled, especially in the second half. But it still could potentially happen. Here's Cucurella, ruled offside. Arsenal playing through. It's a cross. It's back to Marino. He should have left it for Odegaard, potentially. Chelsea just might get it where that looked like handball to me. Yes, it was. Chelsea get a free kick. Again, decent play. Trossard ball back in. I feel like if Marino leaves it for Odegaard, I feel like they've got a better opportunity at scoring there. But he decides instead to take that header. 2 games on tonight, isn't there? There's the Carabao Cup final, of course, and then there's obviously Leicester against Manchester United, which could be a very intriguing game as well. It's one I'm expecting United to win and win pretty comfortably. We may have to talk about that at some point. We may have to talk about the relegation battle. We may have to talk about how the gap between the Championship and the Premier League is it's probably the biggest it's been in a long, long time. With these newly promoted sides seemingly going down. I mean, Wolves beat Southampton this weekend. Ipswich obviously lost to Nottingham Forest. And if Leicester lose today, then the gap between the bottom 3 and the 4th worst team in the Premier League is pretty big. And even though we only have like 9 games left of the season, and it's still mathematically possible for one of those teams to perform some sort of great escape, it's very much unlikely. It's very much unlikely that that's going to happen. So it does look like the 3 Premier League teams that came up from last season are the ones that are going to be going back down to the Championship for this season. And that could be a trend until the Premier League decides to sort it out. Odegaard plays it through. It's just overhit. Rice manages to keep it in, but Sanchez collects. Decent build-up play that from Arsenal, but the ball from Odegaard to Declan Rice was just overhit, forcing him to go out wider than he would have liked. Again, it's just the final ball from both teams just ain't good enough. Pedro Neto is getting more and more frustrated. More and more frustrated by the minute. Whether it be about Arsenal players or his own. He's just, he's not exactly having the best of times out there. Like I say, I'm hoping and praying that some sort of luck will go Chelsea's way. Anything to help us will obviously be appreciated. Drop points. Anything would be great from Chelsea right now, but I have very little hope of that actually materialising. Arsenal seem done and dusted here. It just seems like they either have to kill the game off or just keep it tight, as they are doing right now. Chelsea enjoying some possession just inside their own half, but there's no real urgency. There's no real penetrative movement, and Arsenal win the ball back, but they give it away. Now this could be an opportunity. It's played out wide to George, and his cross is delivered. It's Cucurella with the header, but it's headed down and bounces gratefully into the hands of David Raya. Now, I don't know whether... Let's have a look. Pedro Neto pulls out to the penalty area. There's only Cucurella in the box. really, other than the Portuguese star. I don't know. Maybe it should have been played better. Maybe that should have been played much better than what it actually was from Chelsea's point of view. Decent opportunity goes to waste. But yeah, seems like Arsenal are home and dry. Malo Gusto is going to be coming on for the final 5 minutes or so of normal time before determining, obviously, how long we have of injury time. It is now 2-0 to Fulham as Caicedo goes off for Gusto and Badiashile goes off for Tosin. Interesting changes there. Yeah, I forgot Caicedo was actually on the pitch, to be honest. Just nothing from Chelsea. Just very, very little from Chelsea. Ryan Sessegnon with the second Fulham goal. They now lead Tottenham by 2-0.
Parker Moose from the new Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Stupid advert. Stupid advert. One of the most boring ones I've watched in a while. Here's Pedro Neto. Played out wide to George. Pedro Neto again delivers a cross. It's headed away and then cleared away fully by Odegaard, out for a throw-in. Right, we're an hour and 15 minutes away. It must be an hour for Carabao. I wonder why it's an hour for Carabao and 9 15 minutes for Premier League. Very strange. Very strange. Anyway, Chelsea moving forward, trying to look for an equaliser here. Here's Cucurella. Colwell. Just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Arsenal sat deep. Just basically saying to them, go on and break down this. Break down this. Just break down these 2 bags of 4 that we have. And then in the end, the ball invades Pedro Neto and goes right the way through to the goalkeeper, David Raya, who is going to take his sweet time in running down the clock. It says that Bernd Leno picked up the assist for the Ryan Sessegnon goal. So, probably just a long punt down and they made a right mess of it. Yeah, long punt, and it's a quality finish though from Sessegnon, has to be said. Defender there, absolute nightmare. Who's defending that? It's a long ball from Leno. He lets it bounce. The defender, Ben Davis, is that? Yeah, it looks like Ben Davis. Poor defending. Quality finish though, and it is the former Tottenham player who gets the goal, puts the game beyond doubt. Fulham 2-0 winners. Four minutes of injury time. You'd think that it was Chelsea in the ascendancy. There's just no urgency. There's just no urgency whatsoever. No one taking any risks. No one taking any risks. No one wanting to change the game. It's not great. It's really, really not great. This has been a very boring second. There's been has there been any shots in this second half? Let me bring up the second half stats because this has been a shockingly poor game. So in the second half, Chelsea have had 63% possession, which is weird because the majority of the possession has actually been in their own half. Allegedly, there's been 5 shots to Arsenal and 3 shots to Chelsea. I remember the Marino one. I don't know where the others are. I think I must have blacked out or fell asleep or something. It's been so poor. Hopefully the Carabao Cup game is a lot better than this. Although, to be fair, I would take a complete dominating, controlling game from Liverpool, but you know, to each their own. Whatever will be, will be. I mean, Arsenal get the win today. Like, Arsenal get the win, and that's brilliant. You know, they get bragging rights over their fierce rivals. They get bragging rights over their fierce rivals. They close the gap on Liverpool at the top of the table. They confirm pretty much that they definitely will be in the top 4 for this season. They put some more distance, or they put back the distance that obviously Nottingham Forest closed on them yesterday. How? I'd like to know if there's any Arsenal fans out there that go full-time whistle, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. Are there any Arsenal fans out there that genuinely think you can beat Real Madrid? Like, and I'm not talking like looking at things through rose-tinted glasses. I'm not saying like take your bias hat off for a second. Does anybody genuinely think that Real Madrid. A Real Madrid side that have some weird sort of voodoo, hoodoo, whatever you want to call it, in the Champions League. Do you genuinely think that this is going to work? Playing this way, playing like this, and practically relying on set pieces. Because I just don't see it. I don't get it. That game was one of the most boring games I think I've seen this season. And I'm not just saying that to try and like throw out a comment full of banter there, or I'm not trying to just say it because it's Arsenal, or I'm not trying to say it because it's Chelsea or whatever. I'm saying it because it genuinely, nothing happened. Nothing happened in that game. Like, yes, the goal was very good quality for Marino. He also had an effort on goal later on. David Raya almost made a horrific mistake in the first half. Other than those 3 moments, I genuinely couldn't tell you what happened in that game. That game was such a snooze fest. And I'm just sat there going, you unless your plan is to basically ball Real Madrid to the point where they fall asleep and you can like tiptoe around them and score, I don't see what the big appeal is. Don't see what the big appeal is, in all honesty. So, fair play to Arsenal. They got their win, very good win. They were brilliant in terms of defensive structure. They were absolutely brilliant defensively. But at the other end of the pitch, yeah, it's just a struggle. It's just a struggle. But fair play. Marino goal, fantastic. Defensively, Arsenal, solid. Reduced Chelsea to virtually nothing. Virtually nothing in that game. I think they must have only had like the 2 shots on target for Chelsea. 2 shots on target for Chelsea in the entirety of the game. It's not good enough from Chelsea. It's not good enough at all. The weakest London derby between these two that I've seen in a long, long time. Just so poor. Just so poor from Chelsea, and Arsenal weren't great either. Like, yeah, defensively superior. We said that before the game. We said that Arsenal's superior defense will see them through in this game, and that's exactly what happened. Arsenal's defense saw them through this game, and it was all about whether or not they could take one of the opportunities that we knew they would create, because Chelsea's defense are a liability. And they did. But Chelsea, how you can spend £2 billion and not identify the key areas in a football pitch that win or lose you games is beyond me. How you can look at a side that is clearly in desperate need, and has been in desperate need, by the way, not just this season or last season, but for the past few years. A Chelsea side that has been lacking in terms of a goalkeeper that is genuinely competent, or a striker which is ice cold and a killer in front of goal. How you can look at those situations and constantly go season after season, you know what, we lack in that area, we lack in that area, we lack in that area. But yet we're still going to go out and we're going to spend this amount of money on this winger, this amount of money on this midfielder, this amount of money on this fullback, this amount of money on this defender. How you can spend that much money and still not be able to find anyone that is competent enough to fill those gaps? I've got no idea. I genuinely have no idea. It's weird to me. It's baffling to me, and there just needs to be some big changes happening this summer at Chelsea. Big changes, because like I say, I don't necessarily think getting rid of the manager is like, that definitely should not be happening. You made your bed, you lie in it now. You probably should have stuck with Pochettino last season. I said that. And I'm not saying that Enzo Maresca's done a bad job or anything, because he's got you to where you need to realistically be in and around the top four race right now. But at the same time, if there's not criticism of this manager, if there's not criticism of this head coach, then why was Poch treated so differently last season? The same problems are relatively there. The same problems for Chelsea are relatively still there. But for whatever reason, there's very little talk about, or there's not as much, should I say, talk on Maresca as there was for Pochettino last season. And I think a large part of that does stem from obviously him being a former Tottenham manager. But even so, it's just so bad. So bad. Anyway, team news is in. Before we go, the team news is it. I hate it when. Why is it when teams do this? They always put it in numerical order. Just put it in the position order. Just put it in because it wrecks my head. It wrecks my head when teams do this. Don't care about the numbers. I want it in positional order. I want it goalkeeper, right back, centre backs, left back, midfielders, wingers, striker. That's the way I want it. Put it in numerical order. Does me head in. He's gone with Kelleher in goal. Kelleher starts in goal. Cook goalkeeper makes sense. Robertson at left back. I'm assuming that's going to be Kwanzaa at right back. Kanate and Van Dijk in the heart of the defence. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch in midfield as predicted. Salah on the right, Diaz on the left, and Jota up front. I swear to God, I don't think I can put myself through another 90 minutes of Luis Diaz running after the ball, getting the ball, having the opportunity to go forward with the ball, but then cutting back on his other foot about 5 times before eventually losing the ball. I don't think I can handle that. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I can handle that. But we'll see how it goes. Alisson on the bench alongside Endo, Nunez, Chiesa, Jones, Gakpo, Elliott, Tsimikas, and McConnell. So, strong bench. Interesting that obviously Gakpo, I don't know what Chiesa's doing there, to be honest. I really don't. Because apparently doesn't trust him. He didn't trust him enough midweek to bring him on when we needed a goal. Didn't trust him enough to even maybe come on to take a penalty in that game. Chiesa might as well not be there. But no. I mean, for the most part, I'm happy with the team. For the most part, I am happy with the team. It's just the Diaz situation does frustrate me. I'm hoping that he turns up today. I'm hoping that we get the Luis Diaz that doesn't overthink things. I'm hoping we get the Luis Diaz that basically gets the ball and knows exactly what he's going to do with it, rather than him second guess himself about 12 times before losing the ball. I'm hoping that that's the case. Kwanzaa at right back, that's going to be massive. It obviously doesn't bring completely what Trent does, but defensively, he's somewhat competent, and I'm hoping that obviously the likes of Ryan Gravenberch can definitely help him out defensively. How do Newcastle line up? Well, Nick Pope's in goal. Kieran Trippier is at right back. I would assume that's Livramento. at left back. Dan Burn partners Fabian Schär at the heart of the defence, as predicted. It's a midfield of Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, and Joelinton, with Harvey Barnes on the left, Jacob Murphy on the right, and Alexander Isak up front. That is exactly the kind of team that I was anticipating and expecting from Newcastle in this game. Look, Salah against Livramento is going to be an interesting battle, especially with obviously playing a right-footed defender on that left-hand side. That is obviously going to be a big battle for Livramento, a big battle for Salah as well. On the other side, Diaz against Trippier. Now, Trippier can be got at. Trippier can absolutely be got at. But again, it's whether or not Luis Diaz is going to allow himself to be got at, or whether he's actually going to get at Kieran Trippier. That is going to be a big question there. On the opposite side of things, that midfield battle is going to be massive. Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai against Joelinton, Bruno and Tonali. We obviously know Guimaraes is tenacious. We obviously know that Guimaraes is the main player in that midfield. But that's not to say like Tonali and Joelinton aren't great. I love Tonali. Like some of his passing, some of his control, some of his composure. Brilliant to watch at times. And Joelinton, we know he's an absolute engine. We know he's the ball-winning, dirty machine that does the dirty work, does the industrial side of the job. We know what Joelinton brings to the table. And we have to combat that. And our physicality, I wouldn't say we're the most physical midfield. I wouldn't say that's the most physical midfield. I think Szoboszlai is tenacious. And McAllister likes to put in a challenge every now and again. Gravenberch can also be a warrior at times. But in comparison to that midfield, we could get outmatched there. So we'll have to just be completely on it. We'll just have to be completely on it from the start. And then the defensive side of things for us, Harvey Barnes against Kwanzaa is going to be a massive battle. I feel like that's going to be an area that they're going to look to exploit. I think they'll also look to exploit between Kwanzaa and Konate. We know that Isak likes to drop out to the left-hand side. He likes to work his way on the left because obviously if he gets the ball, he can cut in on his right and try and have a go at goal. So between Kwanzaa and Konate, there needs to be a good level of communication. There needs to be some good level of understanding there. And when you look at, obviously, Gravenberch maybe are having to occupy that kind of space. Mo Salah maybe having to track back like he did in the Man City game, for example, where Jeremy Doku was constantly cooking Trent Alexander-Arnold. It may need to happen again because Harvey Barnes is not necessarily someone that we should take for granted. Harvey Barnes is definitely someone that we should respect. It's not Anthony Gordon, but at the same time, he is a very, very, very good stand-in for the for Gordon. So that's something we should not take for granted. Robertson against Murphy. Look, if this was Robertson in his prime, I'd have no problem. I'd have no problem with him locking up Jacob Murphy. But Jacob Murphy can be, on his day, a very tough customer to come up against. And especially if Robertson isn't completely focused and is too busy yelling at his teammates, too busy yelling at the referee or whatever, if he ain't focused, Jacob Murphy will have him on toast. And as for Alexander Isak, look, when he's on form, he is the best striker in the Premier League. He is the best striker in the Premier League, Alexander Isak. He'll obviously try and work on the left-hand side. I don't think he'll go up against Van Dijk and Robertson on the other side. I think he's going to look at Kwanzaa, and I think he's going to look at Konate, and I think he's going to try and work off of that side with Harvey Barnes. If Livramento can get forward as well, even better to create an overload on that side. I think he's going to try and work on that side. We have to keep him quiet. We have to stop the supply going into him. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a very big battle, very tough game. One I'm looking forward to, one I'm also nervous about. But yeah, it's a very intriguing battle. No matter where you look, there are intriguing tactical one-on-one battles and obviously collective battles right the way from back to front, from front to back. So we're going to leave it there. Big win for Arsenal. 1-0 against Chelsea. They claim bragging rights on their rivals. They also claim 3 points over Liverpool, who, of course, have already played. This was their game in hand, Arsenal. They closed the gap from 15 to 12 points now at the top of the table. Big win for Arsenal. Big gathering of momentum for them, I'm sure. A big boost in momentum and confidence, I'm sure, as well. Obviously, heading into big games that they've got coming up in the Champions League. And at the same time, we get ready for a massive Carabao Cup final where Liverpool meet Newcastle at Wembley to determine where the first piece of silverware for this season will be going at the end of the game. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, everyone, for getting involved in the chat. If you haven't already, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you are new. Both of those things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. So thank you all so much for joining me and for doing all of that stuff. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you for your continued and brand new support to the channel. It really does mean a lot. It's absolutely fantastic from you all. So thank you all so much. Can't thank you enough. Will never be taken for granted. Will always be greatly appreciated. So thank you all, guys, for all of that. I've been Fletch. This has been another watch-along live stream. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. And until next time, see you all again soon. And I'll leave you with that. Come on, Liverpool. Let's make it 11 Carabao Cups. Well, not Carabao, but let's make it 11 League Cups. Let's make it another piece of silverware. And let's potentially make this a fantastic, historic, brilliant season. Peace out, guys. Love you all so much. Till next time, farewell.